Hello, everybody. We are at Limestone Farms. This place has some of the most amazing juice in a barrel. How would you say this?
Remember when whiskey was big in high schools and those girls who wore those sweatpants that said juicy across the butt because they meant whiskey?
I had like 12 pair, and I know you did too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That butt's juicy.
Then they had the one that said velvety across the butt. I'm like, oh, she's a whiskey drinker.
Smooth.
Smooth across the butt. I'm like, oh, she's a whiskey drinker.
That's a girl you don't go and talk to.
Just like whiskey, you don't want your butt to be smooth. Wait, no, scratch that. Velvety. You want your butt to be velvet.
We are going to go ahead and give our impressions of Limestone Farms and their flagship bottles. We have two Bloodlines bottles. They have a tree with blood.
This is Bloodlines. Lines of blood.
Mm-hmm.
What am I rolling with?
This is Darren.
So the Bloodlines does not stand for blood.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
it doesn't. That's weird.
So the roots of the tree represents the generations of the family. Hence the bloodlines.
Makes
Much
sense.
like cattle have bloodlines, horses have bloodlines. That's what that
This
represents.
makes so much more sense than what Trev was saying.
Well, hello there.
Well, hi. So we're talking about our bloodlines, our grade label. So not only is it from the family heritage, but also from the roots of the tree from where the bourbon was actually aged in the barrels.
That's exactly what we were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfectly.
That's wonderful.
Oh, hey, Darren. Were you downloaded that whole time?
I was.
Can we taste this?
Yeah, let's get into it.
So this is on most retail shelves. This is our lower priced bourbon that we start with, around $60, depending on what state you're in.
So the thing that strikes me about this, most bourbons that I have that are down at this proof point, when you're down to that proof point, you lose so much flavor, complexity, oiliness with every other brand. This is fantastic when it comes to barrel char, mouthfeel, oiliness, flavor.
That oilness, that viscous is really coming through, which, like you said, you can potentially lose it. Nope. It's all right here.
I found myself, Kira, you want it all the way up. I've actually found myself coming back down, but like everything, it's just water. You kind of lose all of the mouthfeel, the nuance. I mean, this doesn't.
A healthy Kentucky Hug at 95 proof is not common.
I think it's more so we're so used to drinking the high proof stuff to get this level of depth and complexity.
Yes.
Where that's why you're comparing it that way. But this is low proof that still has that. You could put this, like you were saying, you could throw this on ice and it still holds up. It doesn't just become alcoholic water in my cocktail.
Exactly.
All right, what are we moving on to next?
So Limestone Farms, this is still the Bloodlines, but this is the small batch. Small batch to us means 10 barrels or less. There's a little bit more complexity. You'll get some double staving in these, so the color's going to be a little bit different, a little bit darker on the nose. Should be a little more flavorful. I believe this one is a 98. It is 98.4 proof.
It's definitely, you can tell the step up.
You really can.
Just by the nose of it. What is it when the wood gets wet?
A problem in your
A
bathroom?
problem.
Yeah.
It does smell like that. You get so much more of the, I don't know, the barrel influence or the oak that's coming through in the barrel just on the nose, which is interesting to me because with the other one, I got a little bit more of like a fruity, like face nose. Face up.
This is, to me, is definitely getting more into the oakier, darker, barrel-y influence notes versus the first one. Now, let me ask you this. You said they can be double staved. Is that just something you dictate when you're tasting them? Like, hey, this one might need a little more.
Might need a little help.
Okay.
A little help along the way. All the juice is good, but you have to understand you're starting off with a base juice. Right?
Sure.
So some of those need a little help along the way.
Sure.
And you get a little longer lessons to learn. So you add some double staves to it. You get that saturation you're talking to. Heavier char level, that's where you get your color, your darker color from. My kids are going to make fun of me because I can't say the word color from Eastern Kentucky.
You don't call them colored greens.
If you taste our base juice in this, we obviously use source barrels from Jim Beam. We use source barrels from New Riff, Rabbit Hole, Wilderness Trail, Wild Turkey. All of our barrels, we have multiple sources. But if you taste one brand, then we haven't done our job. Right? So what we're after is for you to pick up. All of those distilleries have good juice. That's why we're buying their barrels when we can get a hold of them. But it's our job to take them from that point of base juice into something that we put in the bottle.
I love that you can see such a clear progression of what you were trying to get this bottle to be, like what its purpose was. And you can clearly tell between the both of them. It's not like an afterthought of, oh, we need
Right.
this entry level thing. Let's do this. It was like a clear thought process of that's what this identity is. That's what this one is.
I think it's important to note that we only source Kentucky juice, right? We only use 6-year-old juice or older.
So now we're going to get into the next, what do we want to say, like next tier up? Or is
Next
it?
year, it goes into a new collection, right? So it's the Morgan Family Collection, which is my wife's family name. That's the farm you're sitting on, is the Morgan Family Farms. You'll see the Morgan written up across the top label. This is our select batch or white label, is that one there. Still a 78-13-9. That is a blend, 80% 8-year, 20% 6-year is what that one is. If you look at the labels and the shape of the labels, we are cattle farmers by trade. So that's paying homage to the cattle on the farm, which are still here.
You could just see it and you're like, wait, is that real? And then it's
Oh, yeah,
not
it's
real
definitely a
leather,
step up.
but you can touch it.
How many cows did you kill to make these labels?
No cows were harmed in the making of these labels.
fair enough.
Oh,
What do you do with it?
Do you ride the cattle?
They're all,
No, I
no.
don't
You don't ride the
Are
cattle?
they
Can't take
pets? Are they
No,
food?
so
They're like-
they're food. They're raised. They're beef cattle.
See, I
They're
can't
raised
do
for
that.
beef cattle.
They got personality. I'd be like, oh, there's
You
Betsy.
don't
you
name
guys
them.
this.
I've named several on the way
I'm
down.
leaving.
Yeah. Have you ever tipped your own cows?
No.
With enough limestone farms in you, would you?
And make the attempt.
You know what's crazy?
How did I get on this show with you?
I have no idea. As we poured one of the best bourbons I know.
I don't know how I ended up here. It's like an out-of-body experience.
If a UFO abducted me and they forced something
There we
into
go. I
me,
can
Sure,
smell it, Mark.
sure.
This is it?
Yes. I would much rather be probed by this than just about anything else.
Wow. Nobody else said anything. Wow.
We're all like, yeah.
Yeah, we've all been
normal. No joke. This is, again, the latter. I feel like this one is now we're into a few prongs up. I would call this as like special.
100%.
Do you get a lot of like cinnamon baking, like baking jar opening?
I mean, the cinnamon is
Right.
there, but it's so much more than just cinnamon.
I want
So
this-
Oh
think
no,
you're right.
there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want this at the Thanksgiving table this year.
Am
And
I invited to your Thanksgiving dinner?
No.
Dinner too? Oh.
Wait,
this will be there.
But am I invited?
I also smell, which I didn't earlier. I'm getting a little bit of greenery, and it's not a rye greenery. It's just like,
I mean,
did you put
seriously.
parsley in that?
No.
No, you didn't. No.
So what kind of things do you throw in the barrel that aren't bourbon? Like
Nothing.
chocolate
Actually,
bars
no.
or
You cannot
sugar?
put anything in these barrels because then it doesn't
Vodka?
equal bourbon.
Yeah,
No?
it's not
Okay,
bourbon.
You
surprising.
can't put any flavors in the barrels. It's not bourbon at that point, right? So you can't touch those. All we can do is stave them. So we'll throw double staves. We'll throw a char of a 3 or a 4 in them, but there is no added flavors because at that point it wouldn't be bourbon.
What's the when you go to Dairy Queen and it's you drop the
Soap?
no Dairy Queen? Everyone's like, yay! No, the ice cream.
Really good.
you dip it into the hard shell maker, but it's butterscotch. It's butterscotch.
If you had like the best freaking like caramel latte, salted caramel mocha latte, something like that, and then you proofed it up. Like this has great coffee notes, caramel notes, great vanilla notes.
No caramel macchiato.
Yeah, like a pecan in there. Like the notes are just fantastic. You have the age, you have the proof. It's everything that you want. This thing is a banger.
roasted plum.
What?
When have you had a roasted plum?
Is there a
Roasted plum.
smashed plantain in this?
This is legit. What's the price on this one go for?
This one in most states, I can't speak for all of them, but is under $100 at $99.99.
Okay, that's a honestly a fantastic deal at 99.
That-
Like that's something that if you're not selling them here in the barn, I'm gonna go out and find someplace and buy them on the way home.
Dude, I would probably pay over $200 for this.
Well, you can if you want.
No.
Legitimately crafting goodness in here. It's not just taking a barrel and here you go.
That's so true. I
It-
know what
it
you mean.
shows, and
There's
yeah,
heart
it's
in
over.
it, and there's soul in this, and this is what I love. This is what I'm going to give to people.
It's not
Like,
just a rebranded label of the same stuff
Yes.
you've already had.
Yep.
Mahogany label, this one is, the majority of it is an 8 and 9 year blend. Still a 78-13-9. This one does have double staves, both heavy and medium char on the stave level. So this one is a step up, right? So this one is much more complex than some of the white labels and so forth. So you'll taste a noticeable difference. You also see a noticeable difference in the color as well.
Well,
Fun fact though,
Hi.
did you know, as you looked at our mahogany label, someone brought it up. It does kind of look like a football, right?
Oh my gosh,
Did you know that one of our investors is Tim Couch?
No.
Yeah.
That's
Of the
something right.
Cleveland Browns and University of Kentucky,
Exactly.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
That's incredible.
I would have never guessed that.
Oh, hi, I'm Tim Couch.
The only difference between the mahogany and the white label is that there are more staves
More staves, older juice.
and
There
older
you go.
juice. And it is so good. This one, out of all of them, this one is my favorite. It has this like sweet, over-ripened cherry, but sour blackberry that's sweetened because of the over-ripened cherry. There's just a lot going on with it.
And then one thing we learned about the Mahogany release earlier when we were off camera is that this thing is, well, it's fantastic on its own. You add a couple of drops of water and it opens up the mouthfeel incredibly. It's weird science. Darren did some weird thing to it. And now when you add water to it, it blows up, but it blows up in the most positive of ways.
The water opens up what's called the fatty esters. So it'll make the fatty esters actually explode into the bourbon, which is where all your flavor and taste come from, right? So adding just a few drops of water will explode those.
This pop rock feel in your mouth emerges that wasn't really there before. It was fantastic before. It's literally highest end, wonderful mouth experience. This just changes it into something equally as good, just different. It's kind of like when you're dating two chicks at the same time. They're both good.
But you
at
add,
stuff.
you put water
But
on one.
You wet one, clearly.
Yeah.
The other one you keep her. Wow. Listen, you want both of them? No, I'm gonna bail out of that.
This is really good bourbon.
The water definitely changes that, I think, into, to your credit, the cigar area.
It does.
Like that's
I got that.
Thank you.
That was his note.
It's better than roasted plum.
Oh, have you had roasted plum? No.
No one has, Trev.
Roasted plum?
Don't not until you, I'm from Arkansas. We gotta
You
make
guys already
food.
have plums.
Oh gosh, no, this, I just love the tobacco.
Oh yeah.
It's like a black market cigar. What is Alec putting on?
Bradley.
All right, final thoughts. Locking down going over these four.
Reiterating what I said before, I'm a little bit bougie whiskey tubey when it comes to low proof bourbon / whiskey. This breaks the mold on that because it is full mouthfeel, it is full flavor at a lower proof point, which is crazy. This entry level, if you aren't ready to commit based off of this, which you should be because you watch us, but if you're not ready to commit, start here. You're going to be impressed, especially at this proof point. The blue label is actually one of my favorites on this table. I really like to step up from that. I really like what's going on in that bottle. I love it. The white label, when we're done recording, I'm gonna ask Darren if he has one around that I can take with me. The white label is my favorite. I love the mahogany label, but there's something about that white label that's calling to me and I freaking love it.
Oh, mahogany all the way. All of these are perfect, I believe. Depends on what type of mood you're in. If you want to grab something that has an orange rind, that has a little bit more clove to it. If you want some more of this darker barrel profile, you're going to want something. You just get all of them because every day you're in a different mood, unless you have split personality.
Or you're a woman.
True. But the mahogany, I do love it because I can switch. I can switch my mahogany flavor from one to the other depending on what I'm feeling at that day.
Sure.
It's a banger for your bucker, or 2 for 1.
It's a twofer.
Twofer. It's a twofer.
It's two dudes, one, never mind.
One
Still in
third.
the wrong spot, sorry.
Pretty fair assessment, surprisingly coming from you. Honestly, white label's definitely my favorite.
Yes!
Like,
It's fantastic.
they've all, here's another thing too, is, and I'm not just saying this because the dude himself standing right next to me,
Oh, he's still
he's already told me about 6 times he's gonna kick me out of here. White label's my favorite.
Yeah.
Honestly, like going back too, I would say the white label and then probably the blue label. My wife hates bourbon, but she loves old fashions. That I feel like that would do really good in old fashioned.
Oh, yeah.
She would freaking love it. I could also pour that in my glass and drink it next to her and she would enjoy it. This one is all mine. She ain't getting any of that. I freaking love that bottle.
But I would say any of these does, and Trev, you'd call this out. all of these do a great job of making your wife more tolerable. And I think that's really what Limestone Farms is about.
Absolutely.
Making your spouses, either spouse, more tolerable.
That's our new tagline.
That's right.
It makes your spouse more tolerable. That's fantastic.
And everything that we're about to taste, you can get in like 48 of the 57 states at lfdistilling.com.
.com.
That is lfdistilling.com.
HTTPS
// www. Oh, sorry.
Oh, there could be a W.
There could be a www.
We should figure that out.
We
before we
really
tell you.
came into this ill-prepared.
I'm just blessed to be here on Shelf Turds level. So.
Yeah, you are.
You should be so
You
excited.
were not our top choice.
Okay.
Where's Cam? Cam was our top choice. Cam? You in the background somewhere, Cam? How big are your nipples?
On a size of
One to
pepperoni to
bologna.
cold cut salami.
The standard
Probably in the
sizing,
middle.
Trev. The standard size, pepperoni to bologna.
This has been amazing.
Wow.
Absolutely
This has
fantastic.
honestly been the cringiest thing I've had to do, working alongside these two. How do y'all do this?
Been an experience.